fuckers, I just had a real awful experience. So I'm just sitting I'm lying in my bed reading, like I usually am without the internet. And, I'm a book nerd. What do you expect? Fucking literature geek over here. And next thing you know, just knock, knock, knock at my door. And then my sister opens it and says, Oliver. And there are tears in her eyes. And immediately I think, oh shit, he's dying. So I go downstairs and she's cradling him, like, kind of, and, like, she's crying her eyes out. I'm like, oh my god, is he dying? He wasn't. He just had his claws stuck in his fur. Doesn't change the fact that I was literally about to burst into tears, but good grief. We have had that dog since we lived in Whitewater, which was, like, when I was, I think, 6. I know I was in kindergarten. So, yeah, probably 6 years old. Good grief, dude. That was scary. Alright, let's get back into TJ. Get back into TJ. That sounds wrong. It's 2:04 p.m. The internet will probably be back in touch around, like, after 3. So, yeah, they're coming back with some shears to, Oh, hello, Jenna. I didn't notice you there. Let's get It's time to assume my role. Apparently no one can get in touch. Oh, okay. Apparently no one can get in touch with him. Jenna leans back into the dresser, running a brush through the fur of her on her neck and head. Still a little damp from the shower. Did they try his landline? Maybe he just booted his phone. He sleeps in, like, every day. Jenna shrugs. I'm gonna assume that they have. So no one told him he was gonna have a party. Jenna turns around and leans toward the mirror above the dresser, brushing away the loose fur. Oh, by the way, guys, you know how in, like, one of Flynn's videos, one of the Flynn Rap videos, I said that I thought I saw, like, shadow chase in the reflection of the phone? I looked in the game files, and yeah, I did. So, yeah. It's a surprise party, right? I guess, it's just that it's not really his birthday. Jenna sighs. It's just an excuse to do something in this shitty town. I see Jenna glance at the door to the bathroom, as if worried Tisha can hear her curse even with the shower running. I let out my own sigh. Well, I'm sorry I dragged you here, Jenna. I thought it would be fun as all. Jenna finishes whatever she's doing in the mirror and turns back around to face me. Hey, it's not the town I came to see. It was you guys. Yeah, well, you don't seem very happy about that either. What the fuck was that sound? Jenna frowns. If I didn't want to be around you guys, I'd have left by now. I have friends in Peyton that could take me to the bus stop. I don't say anything, choosing to lean back in the bed and close my eyes. Still tired from the fucked up dreams I had last night. Sorry, Elle, stop complaining. I massaged my forehead with one hand. It's still the beginning of the week. We've got time to turn this around. It's really just Flynn. Lay off Flynn. I look over at her. I'm in the wrong route. I'm saying lay off Flynn. I'm in the wrong route. I look over at her. Is he coming? Yeah, Leo said he had to talk with him, so... I mean, Flynn gets over stuff pretty quickly. I think it won't be awkward if you don't let it be. Jenna looks at the shower door, the sound of the dryer blowing loudly behind it. It's not really Flynn that I'm worried about. The things he said to TJ. I rub my eyes. If it gets to that point, me and TJ will just cut out early and go somewhere else. Maybe Janice's place. I open my eyes to look at Jenna. You going with us? Jenna smirks at me. I think I'll have some studying to do. Oh, come on. Anyway, what if Flynn is another... She immediately cuts herself off. The door suddenly cracks open. I see one of TJ's blue eyes looking through the opening. The eye widens and the door quickly closes again. Suddenly it swings back open. The lynx comes striding out in just his pants. Excuse me, Jenna. Jenna moves over and TJ reaches in one of the drawers to pull out a polo shirt. I got my shirt. He mumbles before turning back around and hurrying to the bathroom. I catch a glimpse of the insides of his ears, which are bright red. The door snaps shut again. I go stare at the door a while before Jenna speaks up again. If Flynn can keep his mouth shut until the end of the week, We might just be able to forget through this. Ah, yes, of course, because it's totally Flynn. It's totally Flynn that's at fault here. It's totally Flynn. It's not all of you. It's totally not all of you. Good grief. I stare at the window as we roll down the dusty streets of Echo. Honestly, it doesn't look much worse off than I left it. The roads might be a little worse, but I assume that's because they haven't done any maintenance since winter. I'm regretting not letting him know we're coming, you know. He'll be lucky if he even gets his ass out of bed. We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer? Leo doesn't say anything, so focusing back on the road. TJ fills the silence after a while. Well, I don't think it's too weird. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that. Sure, but making it about Carl was just weird. Maybe his birthday was like this week, 2 weeks tops. Oh, hush, Flynn. It'll be just like we're hanging out. You acting weird about it isn't going to help anything. Well, I'm sorry, Jenna, but Carl has a thing about things being about him. You know, kind of like I do. It's this whole anxiety and depression thing that you apparently have forgotten exists. The car starts slowing down. I snap out of my daydream. To look up, knowing that we definitely aren't at Carl's house yet. Oh boy, the fucking Janice encounter. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further up on the side of the road. Does this happen in every route? I don't remember. I think it does, actually. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. You know, I think it's really weird that, like, after this much time of, like, playing this game and recording it for you guys and having to voice and act out the characters, it's like I've gotten so used to just slipping into them, you know? Like, it's weird. It's really weird. I think that's Janice. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned. His brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, her elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll on your window, Chase. I do as he says, struggling a little with the old crank handle. The hell is she doing out here? Coming to a stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I don't know. Hey! Leo leans over me and smiles out at Janice, who's still looking at the ground. Everything up? Leo's voice cuts off on a weird choking sound. I look at him confused and then look back out the window and I can't help myself, but I gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle and all the dust kicked up with the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking out the windshield instead. What the fuck? Oh my god, Leo, keep going. Jenna whispers that her voice strained. Oh, sorry, He stops talking, I chance to glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now, and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. The smile of a predator. It's unnerving. Leo stares back. Leo, go. I hiss out from the sudden mouse, staring out the windshield again. Seems reluctant to, though looking concerned. Janice, you need some help? His tone is one you might use in a talk. Okay, again, I get it wrong. Or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything other than be a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a rep. Leo stops talking in time for me to hear a pattering sound. It's a sound I recognize well from back when I would take a piss in the dirt roads of Echo with no one is around. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smoother acceleration back onto the empty road. Holy shit, what the fuck was that? I don't... Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him. Should I go back? No! I look back and see Chicha covering his face. Maybe she having some kind of psychotic episode. Or maybe she just had a piss. I don't think so. Did you see the way she looked at me? She's probably just on something, isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that. Well, maybe she does. You never know with people. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, neither does anyone else. I glance back at TG, who is sitting in the very back seat with Jenna. He's got his ears down, looking into his lap where he's fidgeting with his hands. I know he's probably thinking the same thing I am, which is that we're supposed to help Janice with her spring cleaning or whatever. I want to ask him about it, but the dead silent van is making me feel like now isn't the best time. I fucking told ya! Leo stabbed the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. Can you please keep the cursing down just a little? Can't help but notice TJ wins every F-bomb. He's been keeping his distance from Flynn, always standing on the opposite side of our little group. I shift the bag I'm carrying around my hands, trying to look through the frosted glass on the side of the door. Maybe he's getting high. Maybe he should still be able to hear. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to? TJ holds up his phone. He's not answering his phone either. Leo knocks on the door hard, his biceps bulging. Well, I guess breaking the door might get us inside. Leo stands back, paws on his waist as he takes a deep breath. He's determined, and I guess he should be, considering he set all this up. We should have just told him to meet us at the diner or something. Do they lock their windows? What? Leo growls. It's not like we're breaking in. TJ's ears pinned down, a frown on his face. Leo puts a paw to his forehead, closing his eyes. Sorry, but I think he's just asleep, and it shouldn't be too hard to just get in there and wake him up. I look down at the side of the house and see a window well. I point at it. What about that? Too small. I could probably fit. She hops up off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it. Wait, there's a security sticker here. Well, you gotta arm it first, and Carl is such a lazy ass, I know he didn't. Besides, if we set it off, we can just run. It's like we should not like to show up anytime soon. Then it hesitates and pushes the window again, but doesn't budge. Locked. Let's try the other one above it. That's too high. I'll be sure. I think this is going a little too far. Leo ignores him and stands next to the wooden window, making a platform for Jenna's foot with his paws. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Leo easily lifts Jenna and she managed to grab the ledge. Fucking hell, this is so fucking stupid. Flynn mutters next to not ignore him. Jenna pushes against the window and it glides open easily. Yes, now I'm gonna push all the way up. Hold on. Careful. Like there's some kind of cheerleading duo, Leo shoves Jenna all the way with one paw, and she disappears through the window. Her bushy tail is the last thing we see, until she pokes her head back through. Kitchen, I found the sink. Great, now unlock the door. She disappears again. We make our way back to the front door. Leo, you're fucking crazy. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, then I'll kick you in your vag. Sound good? Jesus, calm your... Leo turns in one foot in front of the other. One shuts up. TJ's eyes are widely staring down at the steps. I want to put my arm around him. Finally, we hear the door rattle and it opens. Called his name, but he didn't answer. Well, he's gonna be here. It's not like I can go anywhere I would want to. Carl's house is as massive and immaculate as I remember it. It is a mansion, after all. Well, maybe less immaculate than I remember. Pizza boxes and whatnot, yada yada yada. There are a few wrappers and pizza boxes on the marble counter. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him not to be a slob. Then immediately heads up the stairs. Yo, Carl! I set the bag down on the table and TJ sets the cake there too. Honors. I look over at him. You alright? I'm good, why? Just asking, so. Over the back of my head trying to think of how to bring it up. What is it? Janice. Oh, yeah. JJ mirrors my pose right behind his own head. I'm actually really worried about her. I mean, should we still go? JJ looks at me surprised. Of course, especially now. We need to make sure she's okay. Oh yeah, maybe we should. I actually don't feel like we need to do that at all, considering she's probably just really, really high. I was going to suggest we could at least postpone the visit until tomorrow so she had time to come down. TJ's shocked at my suggestions by holding my tongue for now. Chase, you check in the back. TJ downstairs. Theo barks before wrestling back past the hallway. Toward the hallway. We both look at each other before I shrug and head for the back door. Stare at the glass window on the door for a while, wondering why Carl would even be out there. The old playset with the swings is gone, and so is the treehouse that used to be in one of the two trees. The branch near the base of the tree that we used to use it as a step is a cutaway too. Carl and I used to play up in that treehouse all the time when you were younger. I open the door and step out into the concrete steps. I feel a pang of sadness seeing it gone. I had a lot of memories up there. I can remember the day when we started building it. I mean, Carl's dad had built the base and we left the rest up to us. Duke, the old weasel, had a pile of random junk in his backyard, and he gave us permission to take from it as long as we cleaned it up. I told TJ that if we checked the pile, my dad would take us to the movies that night. We pretended to help clean up, even though we were just taking what we wanted for the treehouse. We hauled it away in a wagon, telling TJ that we were taking it to the corner for recycling, or something, and that he should keep going. Of course, we didn't go back. I don't know why I thought we'd get away with that. Apparently, TJ was there for 3 more hours before Duke came out and found out what happened. I was grounded for the longest I've ever been. I cringed and closed my eyes, face getting hot at the memory of being forced to apologize to TJ. Fucking asshole, I mumbled to myself. We were especially cruel to TJ those couple of years. It was probably because of the age difference. Me and Carl had been 10, TJ was 8. For some reason, 2 years feels like 2 decades when you're that old. Still, there really is an excuse for how shitty I was to him. Even after that happened, we never let him up into the treehouse. I was a real shitty kid, but I know TJ doesn't hold against me. Still, the idea of taking advantage of TJ's trusting nature is just so terrible. I saw even the rest of the yard, a cursory glance, even though I know Carl's not out here. I'm a little worried, but I'm sure there's some sort of explanation for where he's gone. I turn back around, deciding to help with the search inside. That's when I see a flash of fat, orange and gray tail disappearing down the downstairs steps. I blink. Jenna walks past. I do a look in the garage. I don't think he's even in the house, though. Okay. As Jenna heads for the garage door, I head for the stairs. The cool air wafting up from the dark hallway ahead of me is a marked contrast to the heat from outside. I fan out my shirt a bit as I look at the multiple doors lining the hallway. The only open one's at the end of the hall, though, and I can hear a low voice coming from it. It's Flynn's for sure. As I pad out to the opening, I can start to make out what he's saying. Oh boy, scandalous. But I just want you to know that I'm not mad at you, Kay. I don't hear a response as I stand just outside the door. From here, all I can see is a few cardboard boxes and a neatly made bed that probably hasn't been touched in years. A guest storage room? Come on, man, I'm trying. I was mad yesterday and I shouldn't have fucking sent that. Flynn's voice comes from further in the room on my left. I grit my teeth, wavering about going in now, just hoping out. I need to go. I was just trying to figure out. Don't. I hear some rust in the room, and that's when I realize that I have to step in. I hold on to the door frame as I poke my head in. Flynn is TJ backed up against what looks like doors to a closet. TJ is cowering in the corner while Flynn has a hand on Link's shoulder, grabbing into the fabric of his shirt. TJ's ears are pinned flat against his head, and he's looking up at Flynn with a grimace. Then his eyes flick some eyes, and he notices me. Let me talk for a sec. Flynn notices TJ staring over my shoulder. He jerks my head his head in my direction. The second he sees me, his hand drops away from TJ's shoulder. Yeah, mighty suspicious there, Flynn, even though I know you're not actually doing anything bad. We stare at each other for a few seconds and I swallow loudly. You guys find Carl? My question sounds all the more stupid than the silence that follows. Flynn's gaze drifted to the wall, just to the wall over TJ's head, where he stares coldly for a few seconds, his jaw working furiously. I start to worry he's summoning up another one of his tantrums. Instead, after about 5 more seconds, he turns on his heel and stalks out of the room. Yes. I have to move out of the way as he brushes past me. When I look back in the room, TJ's already moved to stand in front of a mirror in the wall. He straightens out his shirt and vigorously combs the fur in his face. He does a weird back and forth on his cheek rustling with one of his hands, even though they look fine to me. TJ? Huh? He just snaps his head in my direction, one of his ears twitching. Are you okay? I'm okay. He uses it fast and loud, giving his shirt one last tug. Let's keep looking for Carl. He makes a point of looking around the room. I don't think he's here. He moves past me to leave the room. I grab his arm. He jumps and looks back at me, eyes wide. I quickly let him go, realizing just how closely What the heck? Why is my arm so itchy? I don't understand. I quickly let him go, realizing just how closely I'm mimicking what Flynn had done just a minute ago. Do you want to No! I blink in surprise. No, I don't want to talk about it. Sorry. His ears are down again and he's looking at the floor. Oh, shucks. Let's just keep looking. He turns away again, but I feel like I should say something more. I want to make him feel better, to get away from Flynn. Do you want to go for a walk or something? DJ turns back to stare at me questioningly. I mean to keep looking for Carl. He's not in the house, so maybe he's gone out somewhere around town? TJ nods, understanding the distressed look melting off his face. Oh, this could be a good idea. We should tell Leo. I feel a surge of relief having been able to distract TJ, and now I want to keep that going. Luckily, we don't see Flynn on the way out. Good grief, I don't understand why y'all hate Flynn so much. He's a dude. He's just a dude dealing with trauma, and y'all fucking make it worse. Good grief. I really don't understand why y'all are so insistent on badgering him about a fucking genuine response to his fucking trauma. You absolute buffoons. You absolute hypocrites. Just wow. I can't even. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. The distracted and frustrated Leo quickly waves us off as he continues his search in the ground floor bedrooms. Woo, congrats. Probably got high and passed out somewhere. He mutters absent-mindedly as we head out the door. I immediately realize what a bad idea it is when I step out into the sun. Don't say. TJ, on the other hand, brightens up the second we step out of the mansion. That, at least, makes me feel a little bit better. We walk in silence for the first few minutes, looking at the rolling hills and mountains, cactus and sagebrush. Why does my fucking... It lowers... It's like... Oh god, it's weird. I hate it. It feels weird. Okay. One of those days where I'm not sure if the heat is worse coming from the sun above me or the baking black asphalt under my feet. How's school going for you? I blink out of my burning alive trance and try to focus on the question, not burning olive. What the fuck does that mean? Oh, it's okay, just kind of tedious, you know? Same time, I get a pang of panic realizing how much work still needs to be done on my project. Oh no! I'm able to convince myself that I still have half the week. I'll figure something out. What about you? It's great. Athletic training, right? Yep. So what exactly do you do? Train people for sports? TJ laughs. Well, it's more to do with injuries, recognizing them, preventing them, treating them if I can. I don't know that's what you do. So are you like a doctor or something? He laughs again, but like always, TJ will do it in a way that you know he's not laughing at you. Definitely not. That would be really hard. I guess you could say like athletic trainer is a healthcare professional. Cool. Try to keep from panting. I thought you would have been more into coaching, like coaching or something. You know, like you like sports. He just shakes his head. No, I'd be terrible at that. I can't yell at people all day. Is there even a degree for coaching? I think most people that want to coach get a teaching degree in history so they can teach. Make air quotes. At a high school, also coaching. They teach to coach. Oh yeah, that's how it was at our school. I step at a particularly sharp rock and bite my lip to keep from yelping. I really just want to do something involving athletics. Do you like it, the whole like training thing? Yeah, well, it is my first year, so who knows, but I think I do. Good grief, I feel like there's an arm, like, on my fucking... It feels like there's a hair on my arm, like... Ew, okay, there's nothing there, though, what the fuck? So you just like helping people? Yeah, and I just like sports, you. She's just quiet for a second. It probably sounds silly, but it seems to make life seem more simple. Sports? Yeah, or exercising. There's a goal in your way, like the other team or a big hill. As if there isn't a goal in life, like... What? I fucking hate sports, honestly. They're so fucking dumb. DJ kicks a pebble up from the ground and catches it on top of his foot before launching it down the road. And your only job is to get around. Only job is to get around that to get to your goal. Blinks laughs. I don't know if that makes any sense. I think it does. I'm kind of like that with video games, I guess. Wow, Janice, you're a fucking gamer, huh? Nasty. I can see that. I try to kick a pebble up on top of my foot like TJ did, but I just end up kicking off to the side of the road. How did you do that? Oh, I just got lucky that time. It usually doesn't work. I am on the soccer team, though. I think about how I didn't even bother trying out for my school swim team for Marauders. I already knew how mediocre I was, but I also just like being on the side of the field with all the cheering and lights. It's fun. As we continue down the road, we walk past the charred foundations of an old trailer. While the brush is mostly grown back, scorched earth and black sagebrush skeletons still remain. At that moment, my phone goes off, and I pull it out, having to cut my hand over the top so I can see the screen under the white sun. It's a text from Leo. Found him. Hey, they found Carl. Oh, where? He didn't say, just that they found him. Well, that's great. Yeah. I smile as a little ball of tension in my chest that I didn't even know was there dissipates. Yeah, be glad. Be glad that you don't have to deal with that. Unlike in another route. Jenna's. Great, where was he? I look back over my shoulder at the mansion resting at the base of the mountains. Distance and heat making it hazy. I really don't want to walk all the way back. Maybe you just took a walk like us and got back. Maybe. My phone buzzes my hand as I get another response from Leo. No party, Carl's not feeling good. I frown. What? Said Carl isn't feeling good, so he's not gonna be a party. Oh. He looks back at the mansion with me airing out his shirt with both hands while he does. As much as it sucked for me to be under this sun, it's always worse for TJ with that thick fur. I copy him airing my own shirt, starting to feel self-conscious again about my musk. Shall we head back? I hope he's okay. I think about all the shitty tension going on back there in Grimace. I don't know. We could do something else? TJ appears to think, his hands on his hips. Then his face lights up. Hey, Janice's house is right down the road. We can get a head start on the work. Oh. I'd almost forgotten about that. Well, I definitely planned to go. I didn't want to right now, under the heat. TJ jumps in place like he's warming up for a game. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll feel good to do something after sitting around all day. I stare at TJ, absolutely baffled by his enthusiasm. What? I mean, well, first of all, it's work. Second, aren't you worried about how she's going to be when we get there? I stare down the road at the approximate location where we'd seen her just an hour ago. She's not there now, obviously, but the memory still sends chills up my spine. Well, I want to make sure that she's okay, too. I don't know, we should give her at least a few hours to recover. TJ stops bouncing his arm. Sorry, if you don't want to, I can just go. I glare at him. Oh, don't guilt me. I'm not, I just don't want you to be mad at me. I stretch, showing sweat trickling down the sides of my face. We could wait until evening, at least. Yeah, I guess we could do that. The spoiling on TJ's face is so obvious, there's no way he's not doing it on purpose. Okay, so what if she opens the door and she's still got her pants down? TJ blanches. Chase! I'm just saying, that could happen. There's no telling what she's on. Janice isn't like that. So maybe she was just having some sort of episode? Everyone's crazy here. All the more reason to check on her. Hurt my face. Come on! It's fine, I can just go. He folds his arms and leans in closer. Or maybe, she just had to pee. He whispers the last few words like they're the worst cuss words in the world. I snort and close my eyes. Fine. I let the back of my hand across my forehead. But if I have a heat stroke, it's all on you. Oh, God. Oh, gosh, don't say that. If you feel dizzy or sick, you're going inside. I thought I'd stay inside with Janice while I cooled down was almost as unbearable as the thought of manual labor. Still, TJ looks happy, which is worth it, I guess. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's this scene. Right. Christ almighty. Well, I gotta say, I didn't expect you two down here this early. We follow the old coyote around the side of the house, weaving through sagebrush and tumbleweeds. It's a bit hot right now, but if you're feeling up to it. Yeah, we just didn't have much else to do today. Janice, as far as I can tell, has been acting completely normal. I at least expect her to be embarrassed knowing what she'd done in front of us, assuming she remembered it at all. I'm fine with not ever bringing it up again, though, and I'm sure TJ feels the same way. Once we reach the back of Janice's house, I'm amazed to see a pile of tumbleweeds maybe 10 feet high against the house. The pile sticks out another 5 feet from the wall. Jesus Christ. Whoa. Janice puts her hands on her hips looking at the mess. Will was right. Been a few years since I got around to doing this. Can't see out the back window anymore. Janice chuckles. TJ slaps his hand, claps his hands and smiles. This won't be hard at all. I feel like he's saying that for my sake. It's so hot I just want to lay down and die right here in the dirt. Should be pretty quick, that's why I got another job. The corner of my eye twitches. Janice turns to point out toward her backyard. Or at least what would be her backyard if there was a fence or something that separated from the wilderness beyond. See that pile of wood there? She indicates what is indeed a pile of old crumbling wood. Used to be a shed there, but been there for God knows how long. It pours myself into the good bits of firewood. Janice turns back to the small, shack-like abode that is her house. You can pile it up against the side of the house. I give TJ the dirtiest look I can while he helplessly tries to keep a smile on for Janice. She shields her eyes against the sun. What's a real score today? I'll have lemonade made in a few. And with that, Janice heads back around the house, her heavy footsteps crunching through the brush. We're quiet for a few minutes, both staring at the pile of tumbleweeds. She seems okay. Crouched at the door with my head in my hands. I think she just had an embarrassed moment and acted awkward about it. I do it all the time. I don't say anything. Chase, are you okay? I shake my head silently. It's not that bad. We can do this. I sighed, deciding whether or not I'm actually going to leave TJ and come back when it's not so hot. That's near running water. I look up and see a grinning TJ standing at the corner of the house, holding up a green hose. Water trickles out the middle capped end. And I forgot about you in the water. Remember, every 50 minutes at least. Despite a bad mood, I can't help but smile a little, as continued enthusiasm. I stand up and walk over the hose, taking it from TJ, letting the icy water run over my head while he looks on approvingly. I have to get myself from moaning at how good it feels. Good grief, dude. Once I'm done, I look back at the pile of tumbleweeds. So, what are we supposed to do with all these? She didn't tell us where to put them. We'll just throw them off to the side. The one will take care of them. So we set to work. Good grief. I need a drink. Alright. Janice had at least left gloves for us. We didn't have to worry about anything sharp going through our hands. I still get poked through my shirt, even in the face, by pulling out awkwardly. TJ, I can't help but notice, is a lot faster than I am. He's working at a quick and steady pace, not caring out when a tumbleweed hits him in the face. I get a few more messages from Leo asking where we are. But I tell him, he doesn't reply. Soon enough, I'm sweating buckets. Dark circles forming under my arms and around my neck. Ew. 10 minutes in, and I have to take off my shirt, letting it hang on a rusty metal outcrop under the window. I notice TJ gives me sidelong glances after I do. I grin at him. What, enjoying the show? TJ jumps. No! TJ quickly looks away again, working faster than ever on the tumbleweeds, which are already half gone at this point. I notice he's got the same sweat stain pattern as I did. Hey, you can take yours off too, it feels really good. He just stops and pants for a while, stare at the rest of the tumbleweeds. I mean, might as well do it now. We still have a ton of wood to move after this. He flicks his ears and I can see him blushing. Are you embarrassed? Don't you shower naked with other dudes at school? Well, yeah, but... But what? TJ huffs and finally pulls his shirt off, forcing a smile as he goes over and hangs it up next to mine. I notice that he does it with crossed arms the way girls do. Yeah, happy. What's with you gonna be all worried about being shirt off? You were the same way this morning. TJ sighs. I was trying not to make it weird, but you two were just staring at me when I opened the door. I laugh and TJ put his hands on his hips. Just remember that when we're done, we're going to have to check her torso for ticks too. Oh, yeah. That dampens my spirits. Man, this sucks. TJ pants quietly for a few seconds. It is a little hot. So you do admit this is a bad idea? No, I mean, maybe, but at least we'll have the evening to do something once we finish, right? Smiles at me hopefully. That does brighten my mood a little. Wanna go to the diner? TJ smiles before bending over toward tumbleweeds again. Yeah, sure, I was wanting to try the... Okay, what? I jumped a foot in the air, almost falling into the tumbleweeds. Oh no, is it a spider? Go, go, go! She's off like a bullet, running away from the pile in my direction. Confused, I jump out of his way, then follow him around the side of the house and look where he'd been standing. I don't see anything, but his reaction's up to get the fur stamped on the back of my neck. TJ comes to a stop toward the front of the house. What the hell? What happened? I finally catch up to him, panting under the heat. TJ's gasping too, but probably more out of fear. Tarantula! A reflexive shiver in my body and wring my hands out. No! I'm suddenly very conscious of everything around me, all the little twigs and branches of the sagebrush looking like spiders. Are you sure? Yes! TJ's voice is high-pitched and squeaky as he shakes his hands. He's laughing to himself nervously. I was reaching down for another one when I touched it. It moved and it was a giant frickin' spider. TJ must be really freaked out because I rarely hear him use even that word. He'll stand there for a minute and TJ looks towards the back of the house again, biting his lip. There's something a bit off with the way he's acting, though. Maybe a little over-exaggerated. I narrow my eyes. Is this another prank? No. He looks back at me and shakes his head, his eyes wide. It was right there. It's probably still there now. Dude, you better not be joking around with me on this. It's going to make the day so much worse. He shivers again, but I'm still suspicious. TJ could be a good actor when he wanted. It was definitely a tarantula. The front door suddenly opens and Janice pokes her head out. Oh my stars, who are these two young handsome men in my yard? Good grief. The old coyote comes out looking us up and down, especially TJ. Blinks noses and grips an arm with one of his hands. He's trying to cover up under her gaze. Good. What's with all the hollering? I frown at the old coyote's forwardness. I look at T, but he doesn't say anything. TJ says he saw a tarantula. Janice claps above the side of her face. Well, I'll be darned. A blonde? Maybe. I've never seen one before. Well, they're all over around here. I just never see them because they only come out at night. Janice shields her eyes again. This time of day is way too hot for them. It's probably a huntsman. Oh, no. No, not a huntsman. Okay. All this talk about spiders is making me want to just walk the fuck back and tell right now. It wasn't. She's one of those, I don't think Janice hears him. Just won't leave to that I made some lemonade and I have some cookies in the oven, too. Gio forces a smile on his face. Aw, thank you, Janice. She grins at him. You are just the most adorable thing. She moves forward to pinch his cheek roughs and I manage to stay smiling while she does it. Finally, Janice bustles back inside, and I guess I give TJ a long look. He throws his hands up in the air. I'm not lying. I can see him turning red under his fur, so I leave it for now. Look around for a while, but I can't find any trace of the spider. Getting back to work is difficult, and I keep jumping inside of anything long and spindly, which, when you're clearing out tumbleweeds, is everything. On the top of that, I see several smaller spiders, and every time I do, I jump and run a few steps away before I try to shoo them off. TJ recovers a lot faster, though, and pretty soon he's tossing out tumbleweeds at the same pace he was earlier. This makes me even more suspicious. Anyway, it's not a bad sight. Dude is way more in shape than I am. The tight muscles... Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck? I catch myself staring several times, and I'm pretty sure he does, too. Once we're almost finished, I have to straighten up, push my hands into my lower back to make it crack. Sore? A little bit. He just tosses out one of the last tumbleweeds before walking up to my side. Does it always hurt? I hand my lower back and start sliding it around. Not really, just when I'm bending over and stuff. It's quiet for a moment, teasing through the fur on my back. I start to blush, but that's when he applies some pressure to a muscle. I grimace and arch. Wow, that's stiff. I hiss and try to writhe away, but he puts a hand on my shoulder and to hold me in place. He giggles. Hold still for a second. Well, when you're digging in like that, that's because you're all tensed up. Just relax. Try to do as he says, even though it's extremely uncomfortable. Sweaters are known for having bad backs. I know, my dad can barely move these days. That's terrible. I shrug. Still gets around, just needs pain meds. Which you don't want to have to rely on. My shoulder bumps TJ's chest and the long whiskers brush my ear. It's the short legs and long back. Rude. You have to bend over more than most of us. Keep a good posture and lift heavy things with your knees. His fingers dance a bit lower before pulling back. You'll thank yourself 20 years from now when you're not in constant pain. Put both my hands on my back, feeling warm and a lot more loose. Hey, I actually do feel a little better. Great. I'm impressed with how much TJ knows about otters. Probably knows the same about all the other species, too. You know, you're really smart. He ducks his head modestly. Well, I'm just repeating what I've learned. I mean, I forget everything within a week. I even do sometimes. Just have to keep studying until it sticks. Jay looks around. Actually, I really wish you could lay down somewhere. Then I can give you a real massage. That would be amazing. I could give you one tonight when we're back at the hotel. Sure. Body's me feeling warm and not just my back. Of course, I mean, I did sort of drag you out here. Don't worry about it, it's actually kind of nice. I haven't done work like this in a few years. She just smiles back at me. It is, isn't it? He leans back and stretches, and I have to force myself not to stare at his arching torso. Good grief, Chase. I think that's it for the tumbleweeds, though. I think a little forlornly at the pile of boards. Look, whatever, I don't fucking... Why? TJ follows my gaze and gives me a sympathetic smile. Remember with the knees, TJ says brightly as he marches over to the pile. We find out pretty quickly that there aren't any tarantulas. The ruins of the shed are infested with spiders. Several in black... Okay, no. Fuck that. Fuck that. No, sir. Because those are actually dangerous compared to blondes. TJ goes to ask Janice for a bug spray. I go back to water myself again with the hose, letting the freezing water run down the sides of my head and off my snout. Fucking spiders fucking everywhere. I shiver again. I've been uptight ever since TJ had faked seeing that tarantula. I stand back, letting the water run down my back and front. Sign at how good it feels. I hear the front door open and shut and the sound of TJ's footsteps coming around the house. Looking back down at the still running hose in my hand, I smirk. TJ did start this little prank war, so I don't feel too bad for what I'm about to do. I press myself up against the side of the house, making sure there aren't any spiders first. The second I see the lynx's foot stick out from the corner, I swing the hose up. My original intention had been to wet the front of his pants so that it looked like he'd pissed himself. Unfortunately, he's too far away from the house, and instead he's left staring at me while an arch of water falls short of him by a good 3 feet. He's holding stuff, but I don't take the time to see what it is before I press my thumb to the opening of the hose and send a spray straight into TJ's face. TJ gasps like he just fell into ice water and snubbles back, almost tripping. I laugh. Chase, what the heck? I finally cut the stream of water, revealing a furiously blinking and dripping lynx. In one hand is a broom and the other is a plate of what probably used to be cookies. They look kind of mushy now. Oh, crap. TJ drops the broom to examine the plate of cookies. He tips it to the side and lets a stream of murky, crumb-filled water slosh out from the plate. It smelled so good, too. I walk over and take the plate from him. Well, the ones on top aren't too bad, just a little soggy. TJ wrinkles his nose. Just throw them on in the desert. I feel bad if Janice saw. Pick up a cookie and take a bite. It's a bit soggy on the surface, but it's warm and gooey in the center. She looks at me in horror. Chase! What? This tastes frickin' amazing. Quit being so uptight and take a bite. I take another. Stop. What if that's irrigation water? That makes me pause for a second, but I shrug. I swallowed water all the time when I swam in the lake. I wonder right after. I say that up. I shouldn't be much of a lake at all around TJ. But he just shakes his head, making his way around me. If you start throwing up tonight, then we'll know why. But I'll have you to take care of me, Doctor. I don't know much about actually being sick. He watches me anxiously as I take another bite. Still, it really is good. I point at the broom in the dirt. What's with the broom? She bends down to pick it up. Janice didn't have any bug sprays, so she said to brush off the boards with this. I groan. I was thinking you could do the brushing and I'll do the lifting since your back is sore. I groan. Don't worry, Janice says if we get bit to let her know so she can take us to the hospital. Comforting. Yeah, listen, I'm sorry about all this. I didn't know it was going to be so tough on you. I swallow guiltily. I'm mostly joking. It's really just how spidery it is. That's the worst part. I'll buy the dino when we're finished, okay? I smile at him. I'm not hurting for money at all, but I think it'll make TJ feel better if I let him. Alright, that's a deal. Afternoon at this point, the sun low enough that Janice's house is casting a shadow across the backyard. Of course, that shadow is a good few feet away from where we're working. I set to work trying to sweep away the spiders, their egg sacs, and all kinds of other bugs while TJ grabs the big boards and drags them across the yard. I'm pretty bad at it, try not to yell while I jerk the end the room back and forth like an idiot. TJ tells me several times that I can sit it out, but I feel way too guilty if I did. Actually, I'm gonna look out. Okay, I don't see them. Maybe they're in the parking lot. God, I'm really eager for there to get back, aren't I? Well, yeah, I have fucking 17 hours and 57 minutes of videos to upload. Yeah, guys, there's 17 hours that I've recorded, almost 18. In the time when the internet went out till now, Jesus, man. TJ tells me several times that I can sit it out. Yeah, I already did that. At one point, I flick a spider at TJ, which sends him screaming. Several apologies and nervous laughs later, we're back at it. It takes a lot longer than it should, mainly because of all the sweeping I'm doing. But a few hours later, we're down to the last few boards. Most of what's left is rotting, crumbling wood. TJ wipes a hand across his forehead. Well, I'd say this is the last one. I have the board a cursory brush, happy not seeing any spiders on this one. Hey, I was thinking, you want to go on another hike tomorrow? We can invite the others to go with us. TJ looks up at me. Sure, I thought you didn't like it. Again, I complain a lot. I had fun. TJ smiles. Oh, alright, that'd be awesome. He's grinning now, and that makes me feel even better. Alright, let's get this done. We can go to the diner and plan it out. Sounds like a plan. With that, TJ flips the board and reveals a massive tarantula. 8 beady black eyes reflect the sun, and soon I was blinded by it. They bore into me, and the spider turns slowly, crab-like on its legs so it can face me? My stomach turns and the ground tilts. I feel like I'm falling off the edge of the world. I grab for something, anything, but all there is air around me, and I fall into the black... The blackness? What? Just count when the shoulders are down, alright? What the fuck? I feel like water's rushing through my ears, and I have to widen my stance to keep from falling. Are you listening? Huh? Chase. What? Trying to focus on the kid in front of me. Oh, okay. Hello, Sid. Okay. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Did you die or something? I don't know, I was just thinking of something else. You're dumb. You're dumb. I don't feel good. Oh my god, he's so cute. That's adorable, oh my god. Toby stands there with his arms around his stomach, his ears down. Quit being a baby, Toby, just one more round. I don't want... Go! Sydney grabs Toby by the shoulders and sticks the leg out behind his... What the fuck, dude? TJ's easily tripped and goes down on his back in the dirt. I get the feeling that the lynx is purposely losing so he can be done with it. Sydney doesn't like that and tries to pull TJ back up before rolling the lynx onto his stomach. He yanks on Toby. The fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god. Ow! I step closer. Okay, Sydney wins. I raise a hand and point at Sydney, just wanting this to stop. Sydney just keeps going and grabs his shirt that he threw on the ground earlier and wraps it around. What the fuck? Sydney! Hardcore rules, it's all legal. Come on! Toby grabs at his neck and his eyes widen as Sydney leans back, pulling Toby's head back with... What the fuck, dude? The lynx's arms full around, his mouth wide open. I stand there confused. Is it okay if it's not against the rules? Sydney laughs and leans even further back, looking excited and happy. No. Okay, no. Toby stares at me with wide, bulging eyes. Stop! I reach forward and grab into TJ. Chase, can you hear me? TJ's looking down at me with his wide blue eyes. Toby? What? I blink up and I'm feeling sick. She feels my head and stands up and starts pulling me along the ground. What are you? Gotta get you inside. He grunts as he pulls me, and that's when my stomach lurches and I roll over and vomit up the cookies. Crap, crap! I can hear TJ starting to panic, so I grab at him. I have to cough and spit several times before I can speak. No, I'm fine. Don't freak out. No, you're not. Can you stand up? Yeah, I'm good. I get up mumbly but stable enough legs. TJ puts an arm around me. We're calling an ambulance once we get inside. No, I'm alright. No, you're not alright. This is serious. He starts limping me towards the front of the house. I should have been keeping an eye on you. His voice cracks and I stop him. Hey, look at me. I'm okay. I look him in the eyes and see tears starting to spill over. I'm just really hungry and I stood up too fast. Then I got dizzy. TJ looked back at me and studied my face. Just don't call an ambulance for me, not yet at least. I force a laugh. Definitely can't afford that right now. TJ's quiet for a moment and starts pulling me to the front again. We're getting you inside at least. I should never have had you work under this heat. I'm just tired. We should go to the motel instead. Inside, now, just in case. Janice is happy to let us sit on the couch for a while, drinking lemonade. She doesn't tell me what happened, but he glances at me every now and then, as if worried I'm going to faceplant off the couch. I feel a little bit dizzy, but otherwise fine. Keep thinking back to that tarantula, but TJ hasn't said anything about it, so I decide not to bring it up. Meanwhile, TJ's making an awkward conversation with Janice. I lean my head back, tired and hungry. Mainly it's the wood shop that'll be the hot pot. My back ain't nearly as good as it once was. Oh yeah, I imagine. I guess I was hoping I could get just a little bit more help. Oh. If you didn't mind, of course. I lift my head from the couch and look at TJ. I got tomorrow off as well, and I'll be free to show you what needs to be done if you're willing. TJ's stuck with his mouth open and he smiles. Of course. I frown. Janice beams at him. You are just a little lifesaver, Tobias. No problem, ma'am. And so proper, too. TJ was making eye contact with me, a smile plastered to his face all the while. Janice suddenly turns her gaze at me and I'm forced to wipe the glare off my face. How were those cookies? Oh, good. They were good, huh, TJ? TJ still smiling, just gives me a curt nod. Good, my secret recipe. She winks at me and I feel a little uncomfortable because the smile doesn't touch her eyes. Okay, that's not cool. It's a short walk to the diner and I berate TJ the entire way. I'm sorry, she just sort of pushed it on me. You can always say no. I can't just say no. Or at least you had other plans. She just stays quiet as I push open the door of the diner. I was kind of looking forward to hanging out again. She keeps quiet as we sit down, so I get up and just lay my head back again, eyes closed. It's quiet for a few minutes before Tika finally speaks up. How are you feeling? Though her reminds gently, a headache now replacing the dizziness that I felt earlier. Tired, my head hurts. I really shouldn't have done that. I'm so sorry. Stop apologizing, please. It's fine. It wasn't the heat. TJ frowns and sits back, looking out the window at the sunset. Sorry, I'm not mad. I just don't want to see you beat yourself up over, you know? I don't tell him that this constant fretting and apologizing is grating on my headache. Well, make sure you try to eat. It might just be allergy. Here's hoping. At that moment, a young stag that I vaguely recognized comes up to our table. It's weird seeing someone so young and fresh in Janice's position. Once he gets to her table, though, his eyes light up. Teach? TJ sits up suddenly, a big grin spreading across his face. Julian! Julian? It's been a while since I've seen him. He's bigger and so are his antlers. I barely recognize him. And she is too. What in the world are you two doing here? Visiting. I didn't know you had a job here. That's cool. Julian grins. Not really, but it pays some of the bills. At that point, I phase out of the conversation, letting the two of them catch up. TJ had a lot of friends in high school. He had been technically popular. It's a good few minutes before the stag finally takes her orders. Once Julian bustles off to the table, TJ grins at me. Oh man, it's good to see him again. Yeah, that's cool. Stag on. The awkward silence closes in us again. I'm too tired to do much about it, though. Lay my head back again, close my eyes, feeling like I might fall asleep right there. So, I open them and see Tissue looking at me before I quickly looks away again. What? Um, he fills with the stack of napkins. You called me Toby earlier? Did I? But I did remember even how to say it. Yeah. Tissue forces a laugh. It's been years since you've called me that. Yeah? We're quiet for a moment. So why did you call me that? I don't know, guess I was just a little loopy after passing out. Ah, I'm carefully. Do you mind if I call you that? TJ is fine. So yes. I studied TJ the way he's sort of hunched in himself, his ears twitching. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I go back and forth before deciding if I should bring up the whole Flynn incident or not. Despite his best efforts, TJ isn't fooling anyone that he's not bothered by what happened. Of course he would be. Do you want to talk about what happened on Monday? Just quiet and I kick myself. I'm given a little more time to think of what I'm going to say next as Julian brings our food and strikes up another conversation. TJ again is able to easily slip into a smile and chat away with the stag. The smell of the burger has my mouth watering. It's incredible when I take a bite. It's striking how easy it is for TJ to put a smile, and act cheerful. Makes me wonder how much of it is actually genuine. I'm almost halfway home with my burger by the time Julian is angrily called back to the kitchen by the cook. TJ goes quiet again and starts plucking at his salad. I swallow and set down the burger, my stomach turning a bit. Well, I'm planning to say, I was thinking about this before we got here. About what? Maybe we could use the time we have here to remember what happened, to find... TJ finally looks at me and the sadness in his eyes makes my heart plummet. Find closure? TJ's quiet, staring at his salad. I don't know, man. I just know how bad it is for you still, and I just want to figure out how we can. I search for the right words. Be at peace with it. TJ's still quiet. I don't know, man. I finally say and slump in my boot, feeling like I've ruined the evening. How would we do that? His tone is shaky but genuinely curious. I don't know. Talk about it. Talk about with the others. Not Flynn, just the others. She looks out the window again. Maybe even go to the lake, talk about it there. I don't know. I almost choke on the word lake, still worried about saying it in front of TJ. Maybe. Maybe? TJ sighs and looks at me with a small smile. Maybe, but right now I just want to hang out with you and have a good time, okay? Okay. So stop being so angry, it's making me sad. I pick up my burger and my stomach loosened up enough that I feel like I can eat again. Sorry, I was just looking forward to... And stop apologizing. He says it with a smirk, then almost immediately frowns. I mean, sorry, that was rude. I laugh at him and he smiles back. I take another bite and look out the window. I feel a lot better now, and I'm pretty sure I only passed out because I didn't have any food in me. By the way, did you ever see that tarantula again after the first time you saw it? TJ shudders. No, thank goodness. I look out the window at the brilliant sunset. That's good. He tries to walk away from me, but I kick him in his lower back, and he goes stumbling forward onto his knees. He stays there, not bothering to move at all. I glare at the back of his head, breathing hard. How does it feel what's happening to you? My voice shakes as I yell at him. I'm not used to doing something like this. It felt so gross. But at the same time, I feel like I'm finally teaching him a lesson. He's had this coming for so long. Why are you so mean to him? He doesn't answer, instead slowly getting up to his feet, wiping his face with the back of his hand. I told him to come out here to make one of his treasure hunts. Just so I can confront him like this. It's not going how I thought it would, though. He's just standing there not saying anything. Finally, he starts to walk away again, shoulders slumped, ears and tail down. God, this is so fucking awful. This is honestly legitimately awful because we now know Sydney's home life. Jesus Christ. I feel another burst of anger following him. I quickly overtake a slow space and shove him as hard as I can in the back. Head snaps back before he falls flat on his stomach on the ground. He stays there for a long, long time while I stare at him. I can't remember what happened after that. What the fuck? What the actual fuck, dude? Why? Okay. Thursday, right, that's enough for today, I'd say, yeah. Thanks for watching, I guess. Good grief, man.